Hello everyone, Kier here, and welcome to the InfiNOT podcast. I'm focused on the casual nature of the game, and each week I discuss the new patch, the new card, and my feelings on the game. Let's hop into it. So, we actually don't have like a big patch to talk about because it just introduced high voltage. We didn't get really a ton of changes. Mostly just some updates to cards on their like sound effects, like MODOK has a new one. So today we're going to be talking about Scorn, we're going to be talking about high voltage, and then we're going to be talking about the developer roadmap that was announced that sort of tell you what's upcoming in the game. Let's start with Scorn. Scorn is a 1/2 that says when you discard this, return it to your hand and give it +2 power to itself and one of the cards in play. So this is, without a doubt, the most important card to come to discard since MODOK. Proxima Midnight has made an impact on that archetype, no doubt, but I think Scorn really ties that deck together. The very traditional, you want to discard your stuff, you want to have an apocalypse at the end, that kind of thing. And I think it does excel at that. I'm not sure if it's going to bring that deck back into relevance, only because the meta is in a really weird spot right now. It feels like there's a ton of tech cards, there's a lot of dumb combos that are being put together. For someone like me, it's not a fantastic time to play because the cards that I want to play just don't put up the kind of numbers that like Bounce or something can. And even throwing stuff like Shadow King in doesn't always, solve that. But that being said, I think that Scorn is just going to be a mainstay. If you like traditional discard, if you like having your Morbius be, 12 power, if you like having that big apocalypse in hand, I think this is a must-get. For me, I'm not like a very traditional discard guy. I like Black Knight and those sorts of decks, even though they're probably a little worse in terms of consistency. So Scorn is not going to benefit me, but I'm sure it benefits a lot of people that like that archetype. I would also say that I think the most common take I've seen is that you replace Swarm in your deck with Scorn, because she's adding what is essentially a bunch of swarms, but you don't even have to put them on the board, and you don't have to use them to clog your space. Instead, it's directly going to your cards that are already in play. I also think that you always play this with Colleen Wing, just because it's a very reliable way to get a lot of power. I mean, just discarding Scorn 3 times gives you, like a 6... Or no, just a 112. I mean, that's crazy. She's giving 6 to herself, and then 6 to the board. It's nuts. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's not the most nuts we've seen. I mean, Deadpool can also get to those numbers and even higher. So I think that this is big. I think this is a slam dunk. I don't think that the card actually needs change right now either. It doesn't feel overpowered. It is just very strong. So yeah, good on them. I like it. And I hope that the discard archetype finds its footing again. I don't know. It's a weird meta for it. Moving on to the new game mode, high voltage. I think this is a huge, huge win. Something that I'm struggling with is, just like Deadpool's Diner, it's a limited time. I don't know if I'm going to get the free card. We talked about Agony last week. I don't know if I'm going to get the free card. It seems like it's a bit of a climb. I'm sure if you played this game for like a couple of hours every day, you could very easily get it. I've already seen a lot of content creators with the cards, so I know it's doable. I don't know. I think right now I'm like I'm about to reach the second reward in the track. And I know that I have a couple of days to go and things can change, but I'm looking at the progress that I'm making, and I'm looking at the days left, and I don't know if I'm going to get there. But I think that it's a slam dunk of a mode. It feels really fresh, it's really fun, it's fast-paced. There's less stress on deck building because it's like everybody's playing Aeroshim again. It's just you're throwing stuff on the board. Mine is bigger than yours. There are some people trying to metagame it by using tech cards, but I think that it's fun. It is just pure fun. There are no stakes. You can't snap. It's completely random, but symmetrical. I think that it's perfect. I don't think they need to do anything else to this game mode. And I actually think it's good that it's limited time. I don't want this to turn into a conquest that, languishes on the side. And I'm actually a big proponent of conquests. I think that mode has a lot of value in this game, even if it's not super popular, but I don't think we need another one like Conquest that'll just sit. And then, of course, the question is, well, if you try to keep a game mode like this, you have to attach stuff to it. Like, what are we going to get out of it? Ladder has the ladder rewards. Conquest has the Conquest shop. What would you do to this? And especially since we're getting a card out of it, I feel like it's good that it's limited time. I think we should keep it that way. Overall, 10 out of 10. I actually really like it. I'm just, I can't seem to find the time to finish these modes, which I know is a me problem. But yeah, really cool. I like it. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Let's jump into what is the future of the game, at least according to the devs. Now, it should be noted, they haven't always been concrete with what's on the roadmap, but I do like this one. I like it a lot. It has a lot of things on there that I want. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I am a fan of it. So just going through, the roadmap itself has a couple of items listed that I think everybody will get behind. It's just you'll see what I mean when I say that, like, I feel like some of these should be more important that aren't being developed right now. Starting with the coming soon, you have High Voltage, the Collector's Vault, a second anniversary celebration, and Deadpool's Diner 2.0. So we've already talked about High Voltage, and that has been a blast so far. I think that they've done a really great job. The second item on here is called the Collector's Vault, and the image that they showed on the YouTube video has 6 cards that are sort of put into those same bubbles that the collector uses to, keep specimens in. And they are exclusive variants that were in bundles previously. So the one, My White Whale, was the Hella that was, like, planting stuff in the garden. That was a limited time, like, Earth Day bundle, if I believe. I really wanted that one at the time, but I couldn't justify the purchase, and so that might be a card that I want to get at some point. It's going to be available here. Now, the Collector's Vault, I think, is available for, like, a week only every month. Something to that effect. And they will give you those cards randomly. But it's going to stay the same throughout the whole week. It's not going to swap like a regular shop. You're going to get 6. They're going to be for cards that you own, but don't have these specific variants for. And they're going to be expensive. I think that there are 3 tiers of cards that they're offering. I don't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but it's the same concept. It's like uncommon, rare, super rare. And I assume that they're attached to how much the bundle costs at the time. Like the lower costed ones, I think, are like $1,400. The more expensive ones are $2,000. You get the gist. I like this concept. I do. It does make it so if you really wanted something, but FOMO caused you to miss it, you can use the FOMO again to try to get that variant. But in terms of like how helpful is this to the general player base, I'd say not really, especially for the prices. Trying to justify buying a variant for 2,000 gold is asking a lot. But I understand, like, everybody might have a white whale of a card that they're trying to get. So good on them for at least thinking about it. This is a solution to that feeling of missing out. But I don't know. I'd give it like a 6 out of 10. Maybe a 5 out of 10. I don't hate it. I just wish, as I'm sure most people do, things were just cheaper. So that's what I feel about that. The next thing is the second anniversary celebration, and this is just good news, guys, especially right now if you have not logged into Marvel Snap. For the next couple of days, they're going to be releasing rewards for free, just for signing in. They include some boosters, some credits, a title, a total of 3 borders, a premium mystery variant, and then even more boosters. So hop on. Make sure you sign in, because free stuff is free stuff. The fact that they're giving 3 borders away is awesome. Just good job, Second Dinner. I'm happy to be here at the anniversary, and this podcast, so, inconsistent as it is, has been around for one of those years. So thank you for all of those you decided to listen. My older episodes with Daka, of course, will be in my memory forever, but things change, and so does Marvel Snap. So, all right. Moving on to the next thing on there, the Deadpool's Diner 2.0. Now, they weren't super hyper-specific on the changes there, but they said that they've looked at the mode, look at the criticism that they got from the first time, and they're working on improvements. It's going to feature, Thanksgiving food this time, which is really cool. I'm all for it. And I think it's going to go in with some of the theories going on about Thor's giving, which, if you don't know, is an actual thing in the comics. It's pretty fun. So yeah, really, really excited about it. I know a lot of people like that mode. I'm kind of so-so on it, but I'm all for new things to do in the game. Moving on to in development. Character mastery. I know. Just like me. I loved the idea of character mastery. I loved the idea of being able to get rewarded for being loyal to a specific card. I have my favorites in this game. I think I talk about all the time. Ghost Rider being my favorite superhero. So what's cool about character mastery with it being back and in development, which is, that's soonish. It's actually out of the concept phase. It is soonish. It is going to reward you on a track similar to the collection track for a card that you enjoy. And it's going to have prizes in there, like specific flares, specific backgrounds. And then at the very end, it's going to have reactions that you can use that are specific to that character. And if you don't know, reactions are those things you can do on, if you see a Weird World pop up, you can give it, a little frowny face. You will have those for every single card in the game. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of work. So, believe me, I understand the reason that this is taking so long. They probably have to do a lot of art assets in order to get there. But I am so hyped for this. It feels like a way to reward people for just playing the game and enjoying it, for splitting a card that they want a bunch. All of those things are going to feed into this track that is going to give you cool stuff for that card. I think of the InfiNOT too. I have so many splits of the InfiNOT. I have my perfect split that I love the most, but I've bought so many variants for that card. I love it. I love that they added sound effects for it. I love playing it in discard decks. I love it, man. And so to have a track that's going to be specifically InfiNOT themed is so cool. It's the whole reason I named this podcast. So yeah, really awesome. Really excited for it. I can't wait. This is a huge W for me. 10 out of 10. I'm sure that there are going to be quirks about it that I don't like, as with every feature that they release, but I am really happy they're going for it again. I do think that, especially for a casual person, they can get a lot out of this mode just by playing the cards that you like. So yeah, really awesome stuff. The next thing in there is the Super Premium Season Pass. And, I'm just going to be honest. I know why they have to do something like this, but it just feels scummy. This game has one thing that is constantly recommended to people, and it is the value of the Season Pass. It's good value. You do get a lot for $10. I could understand wanting to skip a couple of levels. Maybe you just want to get to the variant at the end of the Season Pass. But from my understanding, the Super Premium Season Pass is going to have things like credits and not credits, collector's tokens, and, things like that, just really spice up the rewards. And for people who want to spend that much on the game, fine. I don't know. That's a tough sell, especially if they add stuff that's going to take away from the regular Season Pass. Now you can only get the cool variant for the newest card at the end of the Super Premium Season Pass. I don't think they're going to do that. It just, it's sending off my alarm bells. Will I be buying it? Definitely not. I can barely afford to spend $15 on this game a month. So, yeah. Not a win for me, but I'm sure it is a necessary for them to continue getting revenue. I know that is sort of an abstract concept that they can't really communicate to us because it's not our business. But as somebody that loves this game so much, it resonates with me that they need to make money. I don't know if this is it for me. Another thing that's on the development roadmap is an album preview and a wish list. The wish list part is interesting. I think they spoke about the idea of seeing a really cool variant that you like, or having an album almost done, but you need a couple of cards so you can wish list them. I think that's neat. Again, this sort of feeds into the super premium season pass thing, where it's like, how many people are actually buying variants to complete an album? I'm lucky enough that I've completed one, and I did buy a variant that I didn't need. I think it was the Dan Hip Darkhawk in order to complete it. But I was lucky enough that I collected most of the Dan Hips randomly in that album. So I don't know how helpful this is going to be for the majority of people, but features are features. I'm glad that they're thinking about this thing and recognizing that completing an album is a very tough ask, especially when the shop is random. That is so annoying. Moving on to a new limited time mode. Obviously, this is just, a hint as to, what that could mean, but it does mean that they're looking into spicing up the game more. If it's anything like High Voltage, I'm excited for it. Deadpool's Diner was pretty fun, so I'm sure that there are a lot of other mix-ups they could do with the game. Something that I thought about is, in a lot of other card games, you have the ability to, go into a battle with, weird conditions on your cards, or, really I'm thinking of Hearthstone in, their, arenas and stuff, but I know that ultimately, whatever they come up with is going to be better for this game than it would be for, any other card game. So, yeah, that's the coming soon and in development. The other couple of things that they teased on here is new art for the board. If you don't pay attention to it, you might not have realized we're playing on an asteroid in Marvel Snap. Our cards are going on this, purple rock in space. And we've seen that board since the game has come out. And a lot of people have pointed out, in other games like Hearthstone, for example, that board can change. In Pokemon Pocket, the new app that came out, you and your opponent have the ability to change what the game board looks like. So they just teased this image. I'll try to describe it to you. It's sort of like the asteroid in that there is a big rock in the middle, but it's in a jungle somewhere. There are dinosaur bones. There's, little trees poking out from the sides, and there's a lava pit surrounding it. It looks cool. And again, this is just the concept art, so it's not going to be the final way it's designed. But thankfully, they're looking into it. If I had to guess, this is probably going to be something that you buy like a cardboarder. But I like it. It's a good way to make the game yours. And it would be really cool if they sold these things with the season pass, so it's more thematic. That would be cool. I'm all for that. So yeah, really cool that they're looking into it. And the last thing that's, important that I think is in concept is, draft mode. The fact that it's still in concept is a little shaky to me, but I understand they got to find a way to make it work in Snap, and it isn't just throwing all the cards in every pool in here and you get to pick 3 or whatever. Because a bunch of questions pop up about okay, well, it's Marvel Snap. How is this going to be fast? Are we going to be playing conquest matches in order to win a game with our deck? Is it going to be you assemble a deck, you go, and if you lose on the first time, you're out? That would suck. Is it going to be costed? Are you going to have to pay gold? What's the deal? So I understand there's a lot of details to sort out, and they said that they really wanted to snapify it, so all of those things I suggested might not even be problems, depending on the way that they implement it. But the fact that it's in concept still does make me sweat a little. I think that means that they still haven't figured it out, and we're going to have to wait a little longer for it. So, yeah, overall, I think that the development roadmap is good. I like all of these things. I like character mastery. I like draft mode. I like these limited time modes. I would give it an 8 out of 10 overall. Really, I'm happy with it. There are just a couple of things that make me nervous. So yeah, that is, in totality, everything that I have for today. Thank you for listening. I know that this one was a bit of a ramble, but there's just a lot of stuff to talk about that are coming up, and I'm really excited to see how they implement it. As a reminder, for all of you that listen, please rate this podcast. It does help me out. And if you want to follow me, I did open a Blue Sky account, and there are a couple of Marvel Snap accounts going over there right now. So you can find me at Kiernimbus. If there's one thing that you can remember, it's that I'm InfiNOT. Thanks for listening.